I wanna rock, rock. I wanna rock, rock. Okay, so Rock of Ages is a musical movie that came out in 2012 ish. Hard it is. 2012. Okay. Hard. You know how hard it is to see with sunglasses on when you have to wear regular glasses. Hold on. So Sonny, before I sit down, I want to point out this cover. Okay. So it is cover of the movie. Okay, right here. Bunch of characters, right? You got Russell Brand, Tom Cruise and Stacey Jackson, Catherine Zeta Jones, Julianne Hough there, Alec Baldwin, Malin Ackerman, Paul Giamatti, hey man, and Mary J. Blige. It's hard backwards. Alright, so, in each of their names go down, they have everything, you know, rocker, legend, Puritan, dreamer, boss man, reporter, manager, hey man, and diva. Problem is, like, they put the monkey on there, and because of that, the other, like, the main male star guy, Diego Boneta, he's not on the cover. Like, he should be rocker, and I don't know what to do with Russell Brand. Russell Brand's not really a rocker per se. I mean, he's not a rocker in the sense that he doesn't play music. I mean, okay. So Rock of Ages is a musical, but not a musical in a traditional sense. It's a jukebox musical where you have songs that have already exist. Sorry, hit the dice. Songs that already exist, repurposed for the movie. Much like Glee. They would do this before this. Yeah. And something else makes it very close to Glee as well. A certain song that they play. A couple songs, but one song that people hear and think, oh, that's from Glee. Because it, you know, it's so synonymous with Glee, and it's at the end of this movie too. But not only are there already pre-existing songs, there are pre-existing rock songs. And I just did a thing about this movie takes place in 1987, the year of my birth. I'm not exactly sure what part of the year, but yeah. And I grew up with this kind of music. My family, I said before, my family listened to this kind of music. So, yeah, this music is very much for me. I like musicals anyway, but this is very much my kind of musical, man. With the rock music, I was rocking. It's awesome. And then our basic story, there's like some different protruding stories going on here, but our story is that Sherry, oh Sherry, our love holds on. Excuse me. Yes, and they do an instrumental for that point in the film too. Do 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 do. Boom 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 boom. Yeah. But yeah, Sherry has come to LA from Tulsa, Oklahoma, to follow her dreams. And she meets Joey Z, or Joshy Z. What the hell is his name? Drew is his name. Joshy Z is First thing I thought was that name. But Drew, who is working for this bar called the Bourbon Room, where a lot of rock stars have played, whatever. They first meet when someone steals her records, because this is 1987, although cassette tapes did exist back then, so I don't understand why you're just carrying I don't know. But yeah, and right away I'm like, this dude doesn't do anything to try to get the stuff back. He runs over, the guy runs out and says, oh, like, you can't run after him? No. So her records are gone, and she's like, oh, my records, but, in a way it's a great, hit to reality. There's a lot of times in this musical, and this is a big positive too, because I've said this before with some of the Disney Channel musicals, that the music in musicals is supposed to help tell the story, right? Move it forward. And there's a lot of musical sequences in here that show the story progressing. Not like in a Disney Channel musical where it's like, what are we going to do? Let's sing a song. And we're doing a dance number, and we're singing a song, right? And we're stopping the plot to sing this song. But here, the songs feel like they're pushing things forward. You see things happen. Like there's a sequence for Here I Go Again. It shows Drew getting his contract. Sherry is working for this club. Stuff's happening. People are singing, and it progresses. You see the meeting. No, the meeting is before Here I Go Again and Any Way You Want It. Never mind. Any Way You Want It is the one I'm thinking of. They kind of merge together, and they tell a story. As you could just have it be boring and have it, oh, you gotta sign this, you gotta sign that sort of thing. And it works. And then there's sometimes, like, I don't know, you tell a story with, okay, so probably the most useless character in this movie is the mayor, played by Bryan Cranston. And Bryan Cranston will do some weird things. He was a Malcolm in the Middle. He's done some weird roles for movies, and this is another one. But his character means nothing, really. He's the mayor who's being pressured by his wife, Patricia, played by Catherine Zeta-Jones, to tear down the Strip so that people won't be corrupted by rock and roll anymore. It's better for humanity, and it's better for the people, and she's pressuring him. And, after watching this, he really doesn't do much. There's a musical sequence where she's singing Hit Me With Your Best Shot with a bunch of other women, and he's in the church office getting spanked with rosary beads. Like, he's not. That's in the scene. He's like, how many take dictation? Sure. And then, like, okay, he moves, we can have this musical thing. And then, I've seen this before, but the first time I saw it, I'm like, okay. And then she pulls down his pants, she's like, hit me with your best shot. I'm like, really? I know Bryan Cranston would, far out of him. He's a great actor, and he must know what he's doing. Or he has a big enough paycheck. I don't know, but ultimately, his character is pretty useless. Because he's basically a pawn for Patricia to tear down the Strip. But he doesn't have a big enough overarching, as a villain. You think this guy's going to be the villain? Paul Gill, Stacey Jackson's manager, ends up being the actual villain of the film. But you don't think of it as that way. You don't see it that way at first. You're not going to think of that because you see these guys, these guys are the bad guys who are trying to take away rock and roll, they're bad, that sort of thing. And then, they're kind of pushed to the background. When we start focusing on the story of the other characters, and especially towards the halfway point of the movie where our two lovebirds split up, we're going to get to that. That's another problem I have. I understand it's to further story stuff, but it's a big misunderstanding that if they just talked to each other, there wouldn't be. But anyway, And all of a sudden, Paul Giamatti's character, Paul playing Paul, is the villain. He becomes the villain. He screwed out the Bourbon Room, Stacey Jackson's show, kept almost all the proceeds, and yeah, he's this villain. He's making money. He becomes the bad guy until he's eventually fired by Stacey Jacks. Speaking of Stacey Jacks, let's talk about him. Tom motherfucking Cruise. That boy, he got some pipes. That boy can sing. Okay, I'm gonna say, oh, it's okay, he's a little bitchy. He's great, okay? I will say I don't remember what song it was, where he did kind of got a little pitchy, but that's one song, one moment where I went, eh. But, other than that, he's pretty good. And yeah, I was watching him, I'm like, when I first watched this, I messaged my friend Brandon, because he'd saw it in theaters, I'm like, is that really Tom Cruise singing it? Because I think so. Like, really, you wouldn't know, you know? And if I have another complaint, is that not really a complaint, but it starts to stretch out to several other stories. So beginning, we have what could be the basic story. We have our love story. And then we have the mayor and his wife that want to tear down the strip. And you think, okay, this is going to be a case of rock and roll's got to stand up for each other, right? So these two, love is going to prevail overall and stop them, this couple against that couple, sort of thing. But no, because then we enter Stacey Jacks, and then we get his story. He's the caricature of all the 80s rockers, where he's high, he's drunk, he's constantly in a sea of women. Like, his introduction is he basically rises up from a sea of women that's laying on him, and it's like, yeah, and he's got a monkey called Hey Man. Yeah, you got Alec Baldwin and Russell Brand, who are the managers of this Bourbon Room, and they're gonna go there. Stacey Jackson's playing there. It's his band's farewell tour because he's gonna be going solo. And after watching the movie, that's probably Paul's call, because by the end, that's not what happens. And they imply that it is actually Paul Gill who is keeping him drugged up and drunk and everything to further the career, so he's more susceptible. He'll do whatever you say to a certain point. Becomes clear. But then we see Stacey Jackson's story about love, where he meets Constance, played by Melanie Ackerman, who is a reporter for a magazine. I forgot what it was called. Rolling Stone. Yeah, because they do the joke. He's like, Constance, she's from Rolling Stone. Rolling Stones? Stones? Where's Mick? No, the magazine. The magazine. Yeah, interview's kind of weird. If there's one thing I don't like about Chris' performance, is that I wish he would have played it a little more straightforward. I wish it would have been more like, I understand what they were trying to do with the caricature of like traditional, whacked out of his mind, drunk, drugged up, rock star. But maybe if he was more there, maybe like he did the interview and he gets pissed, you know, at some of the stuff that she's saying. It tells her to leave, but there's that attraction, and we get that song, I wanna know what love is. But he's still kind of, you know, they didn't actually have sex. She's in her underwear. It's PG-13, so anyway, we do get one F-bomb later from Russell Brand. So yeah, but yeah, and then there's a third love story. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Dennis, Alec Baldwin. It's Alec Baldwin and Russell Brand. They make them gay. I guess there's hints of it at first, and then they sing, I can't fight this feeling anymore. And it's just like, okay, it's supposed to be funny, but it's kind of out of place. And I understand why two gay men would not want to come out in the 80s. It's a time in America where, you know, the AIDS epidemic was running wild, brother. And, yeah, you didn't want any part of that. I'm not saying, you know, and I'm not specifically saying that it was gay people responsible for that. I'm just saying that that's what a lot was. That's what a lot was said about it. But anyone can get it, right? Anyone. But yeah. And if this movie had come out today, they would call it woke for including a gay couple. That stuff did happen, but it was a little less conspicuous because, it was a little less conspicuous because, they didn't want to be ridiculed for it. They didn't want to say, you're going to give us AIDS or be called the slurs, It wasn't, people couldn't come out and be free with it like today, But I don't mind if you do it. I just don't like being shoved it into every movie and TV show. Okay, can we have one movie with a straight protagonist or something? I don't know. I know we do, but I'm just saying. Like everything, it seems like everything nowadays, at least 50-50 of it, we're going to have a lead who is not Caucasian, a lead who is not straight, that sort of thing. But it's fine, really. Representation is a good thing. And I guess there's representation here. But, yeah. So, my big problem. You have this love story between Drew and Sherry, and it's going great. And then because of misunderstanding, that goes out the window because we need to split them up so that Drew can do his record deal and she can be out on her ass, I guess. I really don't see any need for Sherry to quit the bourbon because all that would have happened was, like she says, tell Dennis I quit, and he should be high on his horse because of what happened and be like, tell Dennis I quit, and he walks off, right? And he's on his high horse from this. And I remember the first time I saw this, they're practicing because Dennis allows them. Why Dennis has any say, I don't know why, but Dennis allows them to the band, his band, Drew's band, Wolfgang von Colt, yeah, that's the name, to be the pre-kickoff show thing. I forgot what it's called. I'm sorry. I don't play rock and roll. Listen to it. The opening act. There we go. The opening act for them. I guess the venue picks those, right? I don't know. But later it's Paul, so I don't know. Yeah. And when he goes up there and gets ready, the other waitress says, say bye-bye. Once he hits that spotlight, they can't see you anymore. And I'm like, oh, what are we doing? What are we going to do here? First time I saw this, but what are we doing here? Yeah, it's that. But it's not that. It's not he gets all high and mighty on his high horse and thinking, I'm a rock star now, I don't need you, blonde bitch. No, it's more of a, oh, I saw you come out of Stacey Jackson's locker room. Dressing room, there we go. Stacey Jackson's dressing room with the top of your thing down, and he was zipping up his pants, he says later, but later he says he was zipping up his pants, but what we see is he goes out and adjusts his penis. Because, guys, sometimes it goes the wrong way in your pants. You gotta fix it, right? Right. So anyway, just saying, but he sees that and automatically assumes that she slept with him. And I was like, oh, we're doing this. And yes, they break up, and he gets to be the rock star. Sort. Paul's like, hey, you have great taste, and I think you could be the next Stacey Jacks. And so he's like, hey, forget the women, man. You're gonna have tons more women. Reminds me of Tenacious D. There'll be 10 times hotter women like that backstage at the Cal Gas Project. that sort of thing. That's what it reminds me of. Also balding. But anyway, yeah. And so Paul sees his next paycheck in this guy, and he thinks he's going to be a rock star. However, when they go to the executives, they say, no, rock is going to be dead. Boy bands are the next thing. Pop music is the next thing. So basically, they become a pop band. Joey Z, Joshy Z, Kevy Z, and Donnie Z. Obviously, based off of members, all names have been used by boy bands. Donnie Wahlberg, Kevin Richardson from Backstreet Boys, Joey McIntyre, Josh Groban. I don't know. Josh Turner. I don't know any pop star Joshes, but Josh Dip. I don't know. Joshy Nichols. I don't know. Peck. Josh Hartnett. I don't know. But all the other ones are stereotypical names for boy bands, even though those wouldn't have existed yet. But well, the New Kids on the Block did at this point. I think it was like '86. I think they were around, and then so that's launching this, and yeah. So that's what they're doing. Meanwhile, Sherry becomes a stripper. Sort of. It's a PG-13, and so the one big thing when you're doing anything you want, that's the way you need it. She comes out, and what's supposed to be her grand reveal in her stripper suit, and it's covering basically from head to toe, except for Cleavage City over here. And I'm like, that's not. But later you see her in like a bikini type bra and panty thing, which is fine. She's a lovely woman, gorgeous woman. Too much for me, but she was married. I think not that I looked it up. Anyway, she want me. I'm older than her though. Don't know how much, but I'm older than her. Anyway, yes, you want a fat, balding man from Minnesota? Look me up. Anyway, I can shave my head and be bald permanently. It'd be fine. Anyway, so yeah. And of course, this isn't working out. He doesn't want to be a boy in a boy band. She doesn't want to be a stripper. She's contemplating going back to Oklahoma. Meanwhile, Stacy finds out that Paul screwed over Dennis at the Bourbon Room. And he is not happy. He fires Paul. This is after Paul has already booked Stacey Jacks for the Bourbon Room again, but he never intended for Stacey Jacks to be there. He's only doing it to promote the Z Guy Yeez, which is Drew's new band, right? So because the Rolling Stone article came out, then that's how he found out, and so now Paul is fired. But by the way, one of the security guards is Kevin Nash. Diesel. Yeah, it's pretty cool. He was in this, and I think Magic Mike the same year. I did not watch Magic Mike. Shut up. Not anywhere near those movies. No, thank you. They're making a third one. Why? What? Would you be in one? Yeah, but I need the paycheck, so I'll do anything. That's how they. But that's me. Yeah, that's you. That's you. Magic Nick. Oh yeah. Can you imagine? He's come out there doing his little dance, doing his dance or whatever, and it comes up. Oh yeah. Don't put Nicolas Cage in Magic Mike 3 just so I have to watch it. Don't do it, Hollywood. Don't. Yeah, I'll do it. No! Say no. Anyway, back to the review we're supposed to be doing, okay? So, everything culminates at the supposed Stacey Jaxx concert at the Bourbon. And the Bourbon is supposed to get all the proceeds. Basically, Paul just wants to get his band out there. Of course, it's not going to work, but you know. So, everything culminates. Drew finds the missing records at a record store, all of her records that were stolen, and he sends them to her. And so they're going to do their Z-Guy-Yeez thing, and they suck. And Sherry shows up, and as soon as he sees her, he's like, gone. Boom. And he's basically done. He knows it sucks. He doesn't want to do it. They're lip syncing, which is a callback to those things, old Britney Spears thing, where she was lip syncing. But yeah, and I did laugh because they cut back to the stage later, and they're still going, even though Drew had left the stage. The other three are still going. I'm just like, really? They're still going? Hey man, and the two bodyguards, they give Dennis the money back from Stacey Jaxx. He's like, that's all the money, you know. Because, you know, even though Stacey's cooked out of his mind, he's still, you know, he's still a person. He still knows that that was wrong. That's why he fired Paul. And then, yeah. And they're freaking out because they're, oh, this sucks. And Sherry's like, okay, I know a song. So, from the beginning of this film, he's like, I've been writing a song since I met you. Been a couple days, I guess, but he's writing one. And it starts with, just a small town girl, living in a lonely world. Okay, so I have to address something. He sings the whole first, she's the midnight train going everywhere, singer in a smoky room, smell of wine and cheap perfume. You know, it goes on and on and on and on. Okay. But something I want to bring up. So all these songs that they are singing are not already pre-existing songs, even though they are pre-existing songs. I know maybe some of them didn't exist yet, but this is 1987. It's the height of the rock and roll era. I'm pretty sure most of those already did. And it kind of gets me when Dennis tells them, hey, you have 3 songs, no covers. And I'm like, I laugh because, of course, they're going to be covers. That's all it is. But if you don't know, a cover is when someone else sings a song by somebody else. It's a cover. They're covering it, you know. So, yeah, but I don't know. And then at the end, he's like, I finished it. He gives it to her, and she leaves in the cab. And then she ends up, I guess she listens to it. That's what she listened to in the cab, but she's singing a different song. Every Rose Has Its Thorn. But, yeah, then they start singing that. Meanwhile, before this happens, actually, Stacey is trying to get in touch with Constance because he's in love with her. And then we get T.J. Miller cameo, which is kind of funny. He's like, I'm looking for Cinderella. You talking about the fictional person or the movie based on a fictional person? And he's like, she licked my ear. Am I getting punked right now? Am I getting pranked right now? What is this? He goes, oh, you mean Constance? And he's like, she went to the Stacey Jaxx concert tonight. I have a gig? Are you Stacey Jaxx? Hello? Sir? I'm getting stabbed tonight, I know it. But yeah, so he goes there, he meets her, they hook up in the bathroom. They do this weird thing, I don't know. He's walking, he's like, walks to her. Middle of the way, a chick comes up and just starts making out with him, and he's like, come on. Now, is this part of the movie, or does someone really just want to make out with Tom Cruise? I don't know, but yeah. yeah. But yeah, so he hears the music, right? The song that's playing, and they're singing up there, and it cuts to a big stadium. Arsenal is back together, so apparently, it was Paul that wanted them to break up, and Stacey Jaxx is singing the second verse of "Don't Stop Believing." He brings the other two, who are just relegated to Von Cult, which is better, a little bit, and yeah. It wouldn't have been a better story overall if they didn't break up. But they didn't break up. I know it's based on a musical, but they didn't break up. But instead, Drew was found by Paul, and they were brought in and mentored by Stacey Jaxx. Like, they both kind of warmed to their heart, kind of thing. Like, everyone should help, and they talk to him. Like, he wants to know about love, and they want to know about rock and roll and all that stuff back and forth. And it furthers it. Oh, by the way, I forgot about the subplot with the wife, the mayor and his wife. The mayor's wife is revealed to be a former groupie of Stacey Jaxx, who was left in the dust, and that's why she's pissed off and wants to tear down rock and roll because she was failed. But doesn't seem like that's going to happen anymore, which is why I feel like that whole thing, the whole side plot with them, just doesn't work. However, I enjoyed this movie from beginning to end. I thought it was pretty good. So what are your thoughts on Rocket Pages in the comments? Well, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Alright. I had that one backwards for some reason. Alright. Roll the dice. 4 again. 4. So I need to tell you, yesterday something happened. One of these got knocked off. So they're reshuffled again. So, number 4, right here. Is that True Romance? Yes. The director's cut. But no. It's not what it says on the cover, though. It just says True Romance. Oh, there it is. Director's cut featuring footage. I want to do theatrical versions because I don't want to. If something's different and I review the movie and Eric's like, that didn't happen. Like, I don't know which version he has seen. But yes, True Romance is the next one for Eric. Eric. But anyway, so what are your? Oh yeah, I did that. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.